Shwmai, croeso, hello and welcome to episode 77 of the Bluebirds Nest. This week we welcome a man whose arrival last summer ticked a box in many of our supporters' wishes. A 6 foot plus front man has been on the shopping list with the supporters for as long as I can remember. So as you can see, pleasure this week to welcome our number 28, Ben Ahmun. Ben, how are you?
All good, thank you. How are you?
Really good, mate. Looking forward to this chat. I say it all the time. People have always been on my list, but genuinely, I've been looking forward to this chat. Since you came in, you've got quite the story I think we will dive into. But before we do that, I want to clear something up. You don't have as many mispronounced opportunities on Scorio, like Risa Brucesi does, to be fair. I've heard his surname said a fair few ways, but I have heard yours said a number of ways too. So, well, Ahmun, and recently Ahman, I think I've heard as well. Can we get the exclusive? What's the correct pronunciation?
So my name's Ahmun, Ben Ahmun. I don't know if you were there in Ballaraway when I got called Ben. That was the name, Ben. And I've never lived it down, obviously, since Ballaraway, which has been great. But yeah, me and Abu get called all sorts, so just have to deal with it.
Yeah. So Ahmun, I'll send this clip to our friends at Scorio so they know going forward, particularly Mr. Tommy Morgan, who seems to misinterpret a lot of surnames. As much as we love him, he finds a couple of those banana skin surnames. On to the football, then. Like I said, top scorer so far this season. Your superb goal against Britain Ferry, along with Owens, I must say, in with a shout of Scorio's goal of the month this month. You seem to be really playing with a big smile on your face at the moment. So we'll come on to your time with us at Haverfordwest County. But let's go back to when you were younger then. Where did football begin for you, Ben?
I guess just when you're real young, the same as everyone really. Just in local park streets and stuff. And then my dad worked in a youth club local to me in Butetown on the square. And he was there 3 times a week, and it was just mini pitches. And I was there probably 5 times a week, but I had to go 3 times with my father. So, like, from my childhood, I was in in tight indoor pitches, sweat boxes constantly. I was like that as well. Playing with people older than me constantly.
Yeah.
And then, I think as I got a bit older, played for Grangetown Boys Club for my youth team. Lewis Harlan was my captain.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So I played in that, then went to Cogan. Then as I got a bit older, going to the Cogan first team. And a few of them had played Welsh League. They were getting on, obviously dropping down.
Yeah.
And I think I was about 18 and they were like 18, 19. I was probably getting to be probably the best. And it was like, they give me a few tips that you gotta go play somewhere else. You can't stay at this pub team. So yeah.
Superb, mate. Superb. Yeah, well, you got to the Cymru Premier in 2020, but before that, you'd had opportunities, like you said, at a handful of Cymru League sides. Porth and Chepstow were down, but I remember first coming across you when you and your SDM sports teammates, you tore us apart at the Meadow back in 2019, I think it was. 4-1 winners on the day. You were integral to how SDM played, assists and goals that day. I remember it vividly. That was the season we ended up getting promotion back to the Cymru Premier. But for SDM, a crazy season and a crazy ending to the season. And let's go through that then. So the main story is probably the League Cup, but we'll come on to that. SDM didn't seem to be far away from the headlines all the way through the season. On the way to the League Cup final, yourself and 4 other teammates made history, I think. You all got hat-tricks in a 20-0 win. Yourself, you got 4 on that day against Kyra Ely, who must have been decimated with player availability, I guess. But I think I've worked it out, a goal every 4.5 minutes. It must have been getting quite awkward by the end of that, was it?
I think I don't know if it's that game, but I think I scored the quickest hat trick in the. I'm sure I didn't but a quick hat trick in the Cup's history or something like that. But no, STM. Yeah, we had a lot of games where we blew teams away. It was a crazy team. We went through league. I promoted or win the league, and we did have players who probably should be playing at a higher level. A lot of them. A lot of them who had played at a good level. But that was the Cup run was obviously good for me because that's where I obviously moved then, because I obviously a few people saw me playing, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I've seen on Scorio the highlights. You didn't play the semi-final, did you? Was that injury or suspension?
No, I got injured, so I played. I think the game in which I caught everyone's eye to move to the Prem was the game I got injured. So we played Newtown away, and it was freezing. It was freezing, and in the first half, I'd scored and got a penalty. I chipped the keeper actually, and then got a penalty. Then we're going into the changing rooms, and we could hear their manager. This striker's tearing you apart. I was thinking, oh, this is good. Then I've come out about 20 minutes in. I've torn my hamstring. Where it's so good to come out, and yeah. So obviously I was out then, but just focused on trying to get back for the final. I was confident that we'd win. The boys got the job done. Against, it was ABBA. I think it was ABBA in the semi. Yeah. Again, I think it was 3-1 or 3-1, 3-2.
2-1.
Oh, was it 2-1? I know Josh scored. I remember Josh scoring a good goal. And then in the January, I actually had a few offers in the January to come to the Prem, but I obviously tore my hamstring, and also I wanted to play that final. I felt like the final was kind of, we've been through such a long journey, not just that season, but to get to to even compete in these levels. And I thought, if I just see it out to the summer, see what happens there.
Tremendous achievement that. Like I said, well, you said then, beating Newtown on the way, Aber in the semi, all the way to the final, Nathaniel MG Cup then, losing out to Andy Morrison's Connors Key Nomads, who themselves were just about to go on and win back-to-back Premier titles. It couldn't get much tougher, that final. But what was it like? You managed to get yourself fit and started. I think you took kick-off in the cup final. What was that whole day like?
Yeah, it was a great day. I remember getting there and thinking this team are huge. Obviously I'm quite tall myself, but I remember this team, they were huge compared to our team. But yeah, it was good. Again, Andy spoke to me after the game, said you've done really well, on a personal level, which was obviously nice. At that point, I didn't really know who he was or anything, didn't know, just playing football. But no, it was a good day. It was more the whole journey and the whole run, and obviously where a lot of us boys just turn up to play football for free, and just doing what we like doing together, or making sure we don't go anywhere because we just want to be together and see what we can achieve together, and it's special because everyone was friends. It was crazy, to be fair.
You were a good bunch. I remember in the clubhouse after that game that you beat us on the meadow. You could see the togetherness from that team, to be fair. But after the highs of doing so well in the cup, I was looking back at the results and back to league action, 3 more games, and then bang, the pandemic strikes. The FAW obviously called a halt to all football and went through that points per game calculation. So STM finished 6th in their first season at Cymru South level. However, again, classic FAW and Cymru League situation, didn't get the Tier 2 licence and were faced with relegation, which must have been a big blow for the club. Having done so well to get up the ladder and then, well, of course, as you prepared for life to come back up, hopefully, it was announced that the club was going to fold. So, just weeks after a League Cup final, I think a 3-0 win over Ahmun was your last ever STM match. That must have been quite a sad way for it all to finish, I guess.
It was, I'm not saying especially for me, obviously the club's bigger than me and there's people who've been there longer than me as well. But for myself, at the time, we knew we were talking about where we're going to play or how we're going to play, but we hadn't actually been relegated or deducted or anything like that. And obviously, I knew that people were interested in me to come to the Welsh Prem. And I was saying to the gaffer and the coach, Nana and Dale, just like, what do you think I should do? They were like, go and test yourself at that level, go. We want you to go, just go. So okay, I'd signed, left, and then all this happened. So I'd left, and I felt like I'd maybe influenced it or something. And I was like. But in the end, obviously, it was nothing to do with that. But it was kind of bittersweet because I left, and then it looked like I jumped, and then that had all happened. But I didn't know that was happening at the time. Not that it would have changed anything. I probably was sold it left, but it was just a strange circumstance that I left. Then the club folded, and I was like, oh my god, that was the end of all of that, and it just it was crazy. But a sad way for it to end, especially after everything that was achieved. I think if anyone ever does go back and look up what STM achieved throughout the Welsh divisions, it's insane. It's insane.
Definitely. Well, it's a credit from your manager and the assistant saying, go up a league, go and test yourself. They could have been selfish and said, no way, you're not going anywhere. You're one of our, big assets. So credit to them for that. And yeah, well, the rest is history. You did make the jump to the Cymru Premier. Penabont initially, and then 2 seasons later at Pontypridd United. So over a 3-year period, I think you really established yourself at the top level. So for me, anyway, it was unsurprising to see that Jonah, Mark Jones, gave you that opportunity to represent. We'll see this time last year, really, or perhaps March, I think it was, when you faced England at Steban Heath. You came on as a substitute, so putting on that Welsh shirt and obviously getting the result, the 1-0 win, that must have been a proud moment. What was that camp like?
It's the second one in a row. I got the season before. I got my first one, and that was my second one. But I come off the bench twice. But the camps were good. This one, obviously, I played less, but the result was obviously 1-0. So it was, the atmosphere was, as you can imagine, excellent after. But the camps themselves, yeah, they're really good. Obviously, you're battling with people, especially me being a centre forward, some of these centre halves, like Jenks, for example.
Yeah.
And then obviously I've been back to back in the camps with Jenks, and yeah, just to get to know people. I think you see people too, see players who you have a couple of games with a year, and then you see him close up. Okay, he's really good. Oh yeah. But I knew that's another thing. When I moved to Harvey, obviously I'd already been in a camp with Maka, and I played against Maka. I'd been in a camp with Jenks, been in a camp with Abu. So I'd already been familiar with some of the boys too anyway, because I played with them there. But no, the Wales, obviously Jonah called me up, which was great. And yeah, putting a Wales top on. My dad's a very proud Welshman. My dad is. He's proper Welshman, so he's pleased, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. How did you find out about the call-up then? Is it a phone call or a letter or email? What is it?
Yeah, no, Jonah called me. I know. Matt knows my family, so I've known Jonah for years. He knows my father, and so he just wrote me and just said, "Look, I want you to come down and play." I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Class.
So it was good.
Where are your shirts now, then?
My dad got it's gonna sound bad now. My dad, I've got a box of a bit of all my old football stuff. So it'd be the final with Penabont, the top from that, the Wales tops, but. So my Wales tops in a box behind me. my other one's with my dad with a cap, and he's got it on the wall. But my cap from the first one is actually upstairs over just hanging up on the top of like an office set, just hanging on the top. It's not anywhere special, but I know where it is every day. But
exactly, that's nice. Yeah, you've got that to keep, and a proud dad displaying your.
He's displaying it. Yeah.
Superb. Like I said, Dan, for many years, there's been a number of supporters who have been desperate for this big sort of target man type striker, I suppose, the big number 9 of old. I think there was a few extra smiles, certainly when he was announced, when you put pen to paper. A big signing for us, obviously, along with, many others who joined us last summer. It really was a great window of recruitment by Tony and the club in total. You come into Pembrokeshire then. What was it that it made you want to come to Haverfordwest County?
So I guess I knew that O signed a little while ago, first and foremost. And I can remember funnily speaking to O's and saying, we're not going to play each other next year. It's crazy, isn't it? And then like a little while after, I ended up signing, which is good. But obviously, I guess it's just, we had a difficult time at Ponty as well. And being at a club that, not the same as Penabont, but in terms of like just ambitious, good structure, solid, know what they want, and set high standards. That was one of the things. But obviously, Sheppy called me. I'd been with him at Ponty, obviously, and everyone knows how good of a footballer he is as well. And again, Haverfordwest team. I've played against Tabby, played against Jenks. Know how good a few of the guys are. So yeah, when it comes, spoke to Pens as well, obviously. No Pens. And yeah, it was just an easy choice. Obviously, traveling was the only thing for me, which I had to try and weigh up. I had my second child in pre-season, so that was the challenge for me. But once all that was sorted, quite straightforward, to be fair.
Happy days. And you've got quite the car school coming from the east, to be fair. You've done a right laugh with those boys, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we got a good car score. 2.5 hours with Sheppy. Yeah. After a bad session. Yeah.
Brilliant.
But no, yeah, obviously a good car score, a good group. To be fair, I think that's
Yeah,
probably why we are where we are this season, and why we perform like we have. Good
mm,
group of people, hard working, um, again high standards. Yeah, just a good, and everyone gets along. There's
yeah,
no arguments, everyone just gets along. So
yeah.
we're in a good place.
Definitely. I hadn't really thought about it. The fact that you played with so many of the squad upon arriving last summer, and yeah, I remember when you announced that you just had your partner, or dad, had the little one, and it was a tough start for you. I know what it's like with two myself. There's not much sleep, etc. But you came in and you made your mark pretty much straight away. You obviously had the winning goal on your league debut, that penalty
Yeah,
away at Connors Key, and quickly followed it up. I think the week later, then Carnarvon away, a goal and the assist for O's to get that late winner.
yeah,
And like you said, everyone just seemed to gel. All the new, say, recruits, some were returning, but that environment just started to click. And I think I've seen previous squads that have had 5 or 6 additions, and it takes time, to find a bit of a balance between sort of all the personalities and the types of people, etc. But I think it was really quite seamless last summer, and it just started, and we've built on that, I think. And obviously, you guys come in, have got a vast amount of experience coming in as well, so that has bode really really well going forward. As I said, started really well. We've had obviously a long spell of phase 1 at Carmarthen, but I want to focus at the Augie Bridge Meadow then. So we finally returned. Obviously, it's added to your travel. It's an extra 40 minutes west for you, of course. But
yeah,
with it, the excellent crowds we've had, we've hit 9 goals in 3 games already at home on the new surface. You've played a massive part in nearly all of them, I think. The 5th goal against Ferry, to be fair, which, like I said, has been nominated for one of the goals of the month from the club this year. I think that'll stick in a lot of people's memories for a long time, I think. Excellent individual goal. It's such a deft touch to take it around the defender, and your composure to drag it round Fuller, the keeper, who'd had a really good game, to be fair. It could have been, so many more. I think it was your header as well that he had that Gordon Banks-esque save in the
It's
first
funny.
half.
At that point, I hadn't scored in a couple of games, and I think I was on the bench before, or the game before that. I can't remember, I've headed that, and I thought it's not happening. It's just not happening for me. And then obviously I had a really good game, so it's just
Yeah.
swings around about, and it's just the way
Yeah.
things go.
Yeah. Well, and that came, as much as the 5-1 was great, it quickly followed up by the 3-2. It was very well taken winner. You sort of caressed it with your knee, and you managed to bury another one then. And I was so glad, because I finally managed to get a pretty up close and personal goal celebration. And I thought for a second you were going to do the old Stephen Gerrard camera kiss as you approached me on the byline there.
My daughter said in the morning, I said, if I score, do you want me to do? And then she didn't say kiss straight away. She said, can you do a twirl? I said, you're not allowed to do twirls in football. I said, oh, okay. And then she said, can you just do a jump? I said, no. I said, let's do something quick. And she said, blow me a kiss. I said, okay. And then funny enough, you said to me, make sure I'm by here. You never come here. And then I scored, and you were literally right by there. I was like, oh, good timing.
It was. And I very rarely tell players, but I said to Waggy actually before the game, do you think it would be an extra incentive if the boys knew my camera was waiting for them? Yeah, mention it to a few. And to be fair, I came straight up to you, and I think it was Jenks stood next to me. He was like, "Why aren't you telling me?" And I was like, "Yeah, Jenks, I am telling you." But I just went for a starting striker, I suppose. But mentioned the Meadow there. Then, what's it like for you? Obviously, you've played at the Meadow as an opponent a handful of times. What's it been like walking out in front of a Pembrokeshire roaring crowd?
It's been good. The weather's been better. It seems to, apart from the STM game, it seems to be raining every time I've been there previously as a opponent. So, but that day it was a lovely day, and yeah, the crowds have been good. It's been nice for me personally, 'cause obviously Carmarthen, it was great, and we had some good games there. But it seems like since I've signed, I haven't actually played at home since I come. So it's been good, and obviously performances have been good, results have been good. My form's been the best since I've come to the club. So maybe play a Bridge Meadow every week, is it?
Long way to continue.
Keep going. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
We've seen what you're about. You bring a lot more than just being, like I said, that target man 9. You offer a lot more. So, but as a striker, I think you are judged on goals. But you've just described where it all stemmed from. I think your opportunities at the youth club in Boot Street, that area. You can see why you're so good on the ball. To be fair, the same can be said about your fellow attack as well. You've been sharing game time this season. I think Pens and Waggy and the staff have really managed it well. They've deployed different people. And Penn said this a couple of weeks ago with me.
Yeah, I watched it.
Pairs that have worked well in certain games against certain perhaps centre halves and that. You've got the Big Ben, Little Ben combo at times. You've got yourself and Dan Hawkins, yourself and your old Ponty buddy O's. I think all three of them offer different styles of attackers as well.
Definitely.
I said, but do you find yourself playing the same game regardless of who you were paired with, or have you got to modify it depending on what sort of skill sets alongside you?
A little bit. I think it's more opponent, I guess, to see what you got. Because again, not talking about me, but I feel like I'm big, but I'm also quick. So if there's depending on who I'm playing against, I can do other things. I guess Dan gets in between the spaces a lot more than the other two. The O's does as well. To be fair, they all do. To be fair,
I know.
I guess like they have this slight differences. Obviously, O's I played with for a long time, so I know O's like the back of my hand as well. So I guess you do a little bit, and they probably do. Ben don't stop running, so when you're up front with him, he puts in a good shift. But yeah, I guess it's slight differences, but we train together all the time. We know each other's strengths. And again, I do like not just saying this, but I feel like we all bring different things, we're all good at all different things. Don't get me wrong, there's not like Dan can't do what I do in certain aspects, but I feel like our strengths are all different, so yeah, but it's been good. It's been good.
We've obviously mentioned the four there, perhaps as attackers who tend to start games, but we've also got a really informed striker he's absolutely on fire for the development team in particular. I think he's on something like 31 goals in 21 games.
I took the other day.
He was our player of the month in December, which says a lot about what he's about on and off the field in and around the first team. And as you've just outlined, he must be learning from four of the best. Obviously talking about Dan John here. I've been watching him from the sidelines, and he's like a sponge. He's watching the four of you. He's learning. You can see that he's taking it all in, and he's becoming an even better player week by week. What do you think? You've spent probably like 8 months with him now. What have you thought of his progress?
Oh yeah, he's improved lots. He was good yesterday. To be fair, in training, he scored a few goals yesterday. He scored more than I did probably, but obviously he's improved a lot. And I think that's just not just playing with a striker. I think it's just playing in an environment where you're playing against more so probably the defenders he's playing against, rather than being because he's a big boy in terms of width. Obviously, he's not the tallest, but I'm saying he's playing against. I think he's playing against Maka, Jenks, every 3 times a week, twice a week, where he's probably stronger than a lot of his opponents. Where he probably needs to think of other ways, and as well as like turning over the ball, just the basic things. Like you can't turn over the ball as often as you can when you're playing youth football in this, because you get punished, so I guess just being around the men, and there's a few youngsters. His brother again being around men. He's playing centre midfield, probably a position where you need to have eyes in the back of your head as well. So yeah, same for him, I guess.
Brilliant. Well, they're certainly ones of our own, as the crowd so often sing, and both of them and lots of the youngsters have got a bright future ahead with us. Bring it back to your own exploits then. You've certainly made an impact. Top scorer at 9 so far. I've got to say, Tom Pritchard, who manages our club's social media, he's absolutely desperate. He's got a draft in his posts, in his tweets, etc. Big Ben strikes 10. He's been waiting for it for weeks now.
It'll go on Saturday.
Well, fingers crossed it does go this weekend. I know I've worked out you're on track to have your most productive Cymru Premier season at the moment across goals and assists. So looking ahead then, we've got still plenty of games to go. Well, what does phase 2 look like for you? Any targets?
win as much games as possible. I haven't had an injury this season as well. No injuries. But yeah, just score goals, win games, I guess. Like you say, strikers are measured on goals, so I always want to score, and I'm probably annoyed if I don't score or get involved. But ultimately, we got a goal, and it's to get Europe. So I could not score again, and we could get Europe, and I'd be happy.
Love it.
But I'd be happier if I scored if I scored a few goals as well. But yeah, hopefully I can maybe beat what I've done previous. I think was it 13 league goals, 14 league goals? I don't know, 13 or 14, but
I think it was 13 at Pontypridd last year. It seems to be your highest goals.
13.
But across, but we're well on track, like I said, and fingers crossed. We start then. Carnarvon's up next. We've briefly mentioned that you scored and assisted up there the first time we visited there. So we go to the Oval again. They're on a really good run of form themselves, it must be said. It's all set for another nail biter. We'll be there with a Bluebirds Nest live commentary, starting just before kickoff for anyone not able to travel all the way up to Gwynedd. They've strengthened in January themselves. They're undefeated since the turn of the year as well. So, what are you looking forward to about Carnarvon? It's a tough battle, surely.
Yeah, definitely. All the games now, from now to the end of the season, are going to be tough, and most of the games prior. But yeah, obviously traveling away to Carnarvon, we know it's going to be a difficult game, but we also know that we can win it. We did it earlier in the season. A few different signings, but you talk about the togetherness in the team. I think that the first two results that we had in the season played a major part in it, because it was hot the first day at Nomads, and it was a hard shift, and then obviously it was a close game against Carnarvon. But I think we're so resolute and so good at the back, but as a team without conceding, we always give ourselves a chance, especially even away or home. So I think we go there and try and win. Like, we should be doing that for every game, really, shouldn't we?
It's exciting. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a nail biter. It's going to be a nail biter. I'm looking forward. We have a good bit of entertainment coming up on Friday night as we head up north to full preparations ready for a tough game on Saturday. But Ben, this has been great. It's been great to get to know you a bit more and the story. I'm sure the fans will be really appreciative of you coming on. Best of luck for the rest of the season. Lots more goals. Looking forward to seeing many more in years to come as well, hopefully, for the Bluebirds. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Saturday. I'm not asking for a 20-0. It'd be great if we could get it, but maybe a goal and or assist at the Oval. But yeah, it'd be great to come away with some points. But yeah,
let's try to get that Ben 10 on the weekend, is it?
Love it. Ben 10, I love it. Cheers for your time, Ben, and I'll catch you on the weekend.
Thank you.